Just imagine 20 years back, a movie release. It would be hoardings and trailers, and there's a lot of media spent. What would you like to change about social media? And she said that, if I could go back in time and not be on social media, I would love it. For you to be able to tell people that there is a better way to cook, you would need to have a channel, you need to have a producer, you need to have a location, you need to have the right lights, and only then you can actually make yourself. But I need to keep my kitchen fires burning, and I genuinely, I want that work for money. But the fact is, I don't want to do that. But here comes social media to my rescue, because what I do is, I'm now an influencer. I'm able to promote and make some money out of social media. So I only do those two projects which I want to do. And
so when we are talking about social media, Deep, we have to talk about viral campaigns, right? So where viral campaigns can spread rapidly, how can a marketer, we have certain responsibility, right? So how can a marketer ensure that their storytelling efforts do not, promote anything which is not acceptable, maybe the harmful stereotypes or spread some misinformation? So this is something which is very crucial. The interpretation has to go in a right way. So how you address that?
In the same way, if you are working in an organization where the culture of the organization is okay with having a viral video and it is against ethics, it's against moral, and there are enough, right, in the last 2 months where we've seen people have used social media, have used this whole viral theme to be able to promote the brand and then come out saying that, oh, actually, I was doing this for a good cause.
Correct.
Not necessarily the best thing to do. Right? Yeah. So it's as simple as saying, see, if you're in Bombay, right? I mean, I don't have the statistics right, but I'm just going to tell you that there could be one policeman for every 400 people or every 100 people. Right? So for every 100 people, there is one cop. I'm making this up. The statistic is not right. So unless until those 100 people realize that it's not right to do bad, I must not jaywalk. I should not cross the signal when the light is red. It's only the X percentage of those 100 people you're going to be able to stop. In the same way, if you're going to say that, where does this stop? The buck stops with the people. You are not going to have a moral police. There is not going to be any police who's going to turn around and say that what you're doing is wrong and you shouldn't do it. Finally, end of day, it is the responsibility of people who run those organizations to know that this is right and this is wrong. I have worked in the pharmaceutical industry where there are people who felt that if the drug content, there are companies, the drug content may be low by X percentage, it's okay. The only thing is the treatment would last maybe a few hours more or a few days more. But that is a decision which you have to make. Can you get away with it? The answer is yes, because there is one cop for 100 people. In the same way over there, right? The same example. Finally, it's up to you. It's where you draw the line. Right? Is it okay for someone to work till 8 in the night? That is not a decision which you and I make. I am passionate about my work. Till my work is not over, I don't want to have my evening cup of tea. As long as it does not affect anyone else, I think it's perfectly fine. In the same way, is it okay to have viral videos and all? Because there are enough dialogues, right? I can move on to the other side by saying that no publicity is bad publicity, no publicity, even negative publicity is publicity. But they're all out there.
Correct.
You won't believe, this morning I actually bumped into the girl who is from one of the slum areas of Bombay, who's been picked up as a model by one of the beauty care brands. Is that wrong? No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Now, I am sure the brand is smart enough to pick this up and do a good job with it. Correct. I trust them. So I choose to trust them, right? I choose to trust that if they have chosen as a beauty care brand, and I need to pick up a girl from a slum, but she's very pretty, and turn around and say that it's not rich people in high rises and those who are fair are good looking, but also so beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. It's how the brand sets it up and does it, and I'm sure they'll do a good job at it. I'm not sure if everyone understands the sensitivity of using this, right?
Correct.
So, who is the person who teaches them sensitivity? They themselves. They themselves. Right? Gone are those days of the advertising app where you actually say that it's a 1948, it's a 1954 app, magic and, all those special users app which you have. That's not going to save you anymore. That's genuinely not going to be able to save you anymore. It's if someone wants to troll or get someone trolled on the internet today, it costs very little. It costs very little.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
It's not too
It's very
difficult.
accessible.
So it's very accessible. And there is no face, right?
Correct.
All people, those who were scared to speak in the public with their face and their name, have now understood that I could be at the back end with a fake account and say anything to anyone and get away with it. Right? So where does this stop? It just stops with education. It just stops with your morals, ethics, values, and where you come from. You can't stop them. You really cannot.
True. The roots are something which works, in the long run and even the short run.
So as a culture, right? If you and I work in the organization so if you and I work in an organization and we have a team of people, it is the onus is on us to tell our boys, tell our girls, tell our kids that this is what is right to do, right? It's like cards. Bluffing is allowed, cheating is not. Right? So if you know the difference, you need to understand the difference between them.
How do you approach, building and nurturing a high performing team, marketing team, especially, and what kind of qualities do you look within them when we are talking about, integrity and on the personal things? So while hiring, how do you look into this?
There are 3 types of people. And I'll use Hindi because he spoke to me in Hindi and I can still hear him in my head.
Yes, please.
कोई भी टीम में ना 3 टाइप के लोग होते हैं, गधे, घोड़े और हाथी.
गधे, घोड़े, हाथी. Okay.
The gadas are the ones, those who do a lot of work. Right? They don't question, but they can work for 12 to 14 hours a day and they do a good job. Don't get them wrong. I mean, unfortunately, a donkey is considered as an abuse, right? But it's not. Here I'm looking at as an animal who's a hard worker.
Quality.
Not the quality, right? The other one is a ghoda. A ghoda also can carry the same amount of weight like a gada, but he's good looking and you can put him out in the front and he can do a good job. He trots, he's good looking, he's got different colors, kind of thing. Right? So he's a ghoda. And he runs. When he's someone who can do an external kind of work and he can create an image for you. And then there is a hathi. A hathi, I don't know if you know this, and I didn't, and after he told me I checked, a hathi can run maybe 80% as fast as a horse.
He's I didn't know fast. This.
If required. When he has to run, he runs very fast. Right? Okay. Unfortunately, when you look at him, you say that ye kahan se bhag sakega? But he's a very good thinker. He thinks very well and he has got a very good memory.
Okay.
Right? In any team, you need lots of gadas, then lesser hathis, lesser ghodas, and then maybe 2 or 3 hathis. Whenever you join an organization, me as a person, I joined as a gada. He told me you have to be that gada for 3 to 5 years, work very hard. Don't question. Do, learn, observe, learn. Right? Then comes in the Ghoda. You get promoted to be a Ghoda in the same organization or somewhere else. Now you have given up on doing those Ghada wala kaam, but maybe you do 50% of that, and 50% you do strategy. You look good. You dress better. You now start liaising with different departments and do all of that. Then you get promoted either in the same organization or the same industry or in a different industry, and you become a hathi where you do the strategy. Now, when you're a hathi, the gada tells you, "Sir, ये नहीं हो सकता है," and you say, "क्यों नहीं हो सकता? मुझे मालूम है कैसे करना है." Because you're not somebody who has just reached the top. You've learned.
You have actually lived
so you
everything.
have learned from here to here to here. Now, to answer your question, first thing when I actually am looking for a person in my team, and if I have a team of 72 people and I have to replace one, either I'm getting a new one or I'm getting a replacement. There are only two parts to it.
Correct.
Where do I want him to be? Do I want him to be a Gada? Do I want him to be a Goda? Do I want him to be a Hathi? Unfortunately, the reality is you want a Goda, but you want to give a Gada salary. That is where this problem starts. You want a person, you get my point. So I want someone with 6 years of experience, right? But I don't want to pay him as much as a person with 6 years of experience. So what happens is you go one level lower and you pick up somebody who's just in the transitioning phase. Now it is your skill, your talent, your team's skill and talent saying that this guy is raw. He's not completely formed. I will have to convert him from lower to upper. Or I have to, or like for example, today I am recruiting for my replacement. I am moving up the ladder into a different department and to head the department. And one of the jobs or one of the responsibilities given to me is we are promoting you. You need to take up that new role 31 days from now. In 31 days, you have to find your own replacement, train him, and so that he picks up that job which you've done. Now, unfortunately, there, your biggest problem is you're trying to look for someone who's like you. Your bias is you're trying to look at someone like you. It's the same story which you see in any Hindi movie or any of those Ekta Kapoor serials. The mother-in-law is trying to find a daughter in the daughter-in-law, not realizing that she's an individual who's completely different. Maybe similar, same culture, but personality to alag hai, character to alag hai. So when I'm recruiting, I'm saying, am I looking for this strata, Gada, Goda or Hathi? One. Next important thing is, there are two important things. One is passion and the other is commitment. Right? You can be a very passionate filmmaker, but you could take 3 months for a 4-hour job saying that I'm not in the zone. My passion for my movie is very high. I want Devleena to play this role, but I need to write this role in a particular way. So I'm going to take some months off, but I'm the producer. I don't have so much money and I cannot give you that leeway to spend 3 months on it.
Correct.
So you are I'm passionate. I'm very passionate. And at the end of 3 months, I might come up with something wonderful. But it is not commercially viable, right? Because I can't wait for 3 months. I've got my dates fixed. So do I have the commitment saying that I will do it in 3 days, which means I might take 3.5 days. But I will do it in 3 days. I will not take 3 months. So only passion is of no use. Only commitment is of no use. Right? So depending on whether you're a Gada, you're a Goda, or you're a Hathi, your percentage of passion and commitment kind of changes.
Correct.
Right? Depending on that. A Hathi is 100% passionate and 100% committed. And that's why he's a Hathi. Because he's gone through this. And that is why he takes all the stress. And that is why when you are 45 to 50 years of age, they land up with health issues. Right? Because he's taking on that responsibility and the stress of it.
Correct.
So to answer your question, what do I look for in people? The passion and commitment. If someone tells me today is that, do you look for sincerity? Do you look for discipline? Do you look for, like we spoke about, morals, values, ethics, integrity? It's like a given. So what you're recruiting is not for yourself, but the brand, right? So you're working for a company X, which has a culture. Your team has a culture. Will he fit in that? He could be passionate, he could be committed, but he may be a mismatch.
Correct.
You're looking for that. And that all you pick up from references, that all you pick up from the interview. That is your skill set. Where you're trying to see that this is what I'm looking for. Do I have enough kind of analytical tests which he answers, or he answers the right questions in the right manner? And that's how you're going to be able to do it.
Superb. So Deep, with this, we will be moving towards a section called rapid fire round, which is fun, which is quick, and which allows our viewers to know you as a person a little more. Okay, so the only rule is you need to answer in one word or as minimum word as possible. So we
Sure.
are good to go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Deep, tell me what has been your favorite age so far?
I think it was between 19 to 22.
And what is your favorite work memory?
My favorite work memory is Damodar Mal, who's now the CEO of Reliance Retail.
Mm-hmm.
I done a project with him. We spent like 2.5 months to come up with a project plan, which was a quotation of 2.5 crores with an agency. I crunched it down to 1.2 crores. Finally, he threw that whole thing out of the window and he said, "You know what? Just do this yourself. Don't give it to the agency." I said, after two and a half
Oh.
months of working so hard on a proposal, and
Mm.
almost zeroing in on an agency, you're throwing it out of the window and you want me to do it myself. He said, "Yeah, how long is the agency going to take?" I said, "One, they've committed 1 month. And if you were to do it," I said, "it's going to take me 2 months." He's saying, "Take 2.5 months and do it."
Oh.
So in those 2.5 months, the first 10 days, I cribbed and it said that, he just doesn't want to spend money. But I'll tell you what, in those 2.5 months, I learned everything about business. And that was his objective, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the fact is, instead of spending 1 crore 25 lakhs, we spent 20 lakhs.
Okay.
And in 2.5 months, it was just me and a team member of mine. We finished the whole thing. So I
Okay.
learned everything about the business. I was able to visit stores. I was able to visit customers. And I came back with more. So not only did I complete that project, I came up with two new analyses, two new actionable items, which was,
Mm-hmm.
so it became a very enriching experience rather than a project, right? And our project was like this,
Correct.
chalu hoga, khatam hoga. This became like one enrichment, kind of a learning experience for me. So that
Yes.
was really,
Yes. Okay. So what advice would you give to an employer on their first day of work?
I would just say observe. For the first 1 week, forget one day, just observe.
If you could not work in this profession, what profession would you pursue?
I wanted to be linked to Bollywood to do work on that side of town. So I'm already doing that. So that is what I wanted to do.
What would you change about yourself if given a chance?
I wouldn't change anything right now. I'm kind of happy the way things have shaped up.
What advice would you give to your younger self, the previous?
I would go back and I would tell my younger self to calm down.
Correct. Allow yourself like to live
Allow it.
at least for some time.
Make, I would tell myself, make more mistakes.
Hmm. Lovely. So we are out of the rapid fire round with this. And
Oh, nice.
before we wind up, I want you to talk for our aspiring marketing leaders on their way up. What is your message for them?
I think be linked to business a little more than you can. My advice to tell all the young and the older marketeers would be understand business a little bit more. Otherwise, you're taken a little more, you know, you are considered superficial in your approach to work.
Correct. True. True. That's when you get the depth of, and the real reason for doing what you're doing. That time.
Yes, yes, I agree. That's what I was trying to say. Yes.
Super. Deep, I think we had a wholesome conversation in the last 45 minutes, and
Yeah.
we have covered quite a lot through your experience. It was exciting. It was energetic with full of, energy and vibes
Thank you. Thank you very
throughout the conversation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting this invitation of,
much.
coming
My pleasure.
here on a Saturday evening. Yeah.
All good.
It was wonderful talking to you, Deep.
Thank you. Take care, Devleena. Thank you very much.
आई एम श्योर कि आपको ये वीडियो बहुत ही इंसाइटफुल एंड इन्फॉर्मेटिव लगा होगा. लेट अस नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन विच पार्ट ऑफ द वीडियो यू लव द मोस्ट. हम ऐसे ही इंडिया के टॉप बिजनेस ब्रांड सीक्रेट्स आपके पास लाते रहते हैं. प्लीज डू नॉट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब आवर चैनल आइकन्स बिहाइंड ब्रांड्स. एंड दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे. आई एम देवलीना नियोगी, signing off until next time.